It is afternoon, late afternoon. Welcome to the Wayward Widow. Okay, I just got a text. Welcome. I just made my coffee. Come on, you can't tell me that doesn't look good. Well, if you don't like coffee, iced coffee, it's not gonna look good for you. But this looks really good for me. I make my iced coffee at home. I use my good old Mr. Coffee. I brew a pot of coffee. I use decaf, only decaf. And when it cools down, I put it in an extra carafe. I never throw my carafes away because Mr. Coffees, they'll last about, what, a year? And then you get another Mr. Coffee, but save the carafe. Always save your carafe. And so then I put the cooled coffee into a different carafe and pop it in the fridge. So I have cold coffee all the time. And then I put all of my coffee glasses and mugs and things in the freezer. I keep them empty in the freezer. So that then they're always cold, and the coffee's always cold, and then I load it with ice and Coffee Mate. And right now I'm using the French vanilla liquid and the cafe mocha. But I do have this caramel, what is it? Something brownie caramel. Wait a minute. Salted caramel brownie. 2 times richer than milk. If you love mocha, cafe mocha, and you can't find it, get the salted caramel brownie. The taste is almost identical. It's almost identical. I actually picked up 2 of these by mistake. I thought I had a mocha, but anyway, doesn't matter. So if you love iced coffee and you're tired of paying an arm and a leg, make it at home. Make it at home. If I didn't say welcome to the Wayward Widow, welcome. Let's do the card. Tension is who you think you should be. Relaxation is who you are. That's a Chinese proverb. The action is take short, relaxing breaths. No, don't do that. That's not what it's saying. Take short, relaxing breaks at your workplace at least twice a day. Notice that it will improve your productivity, quality of work, and state of mind. So if your boss allows you to have 2 short, relaxing breaks, do that. I don't know. So let me fill you in on some things. I went to the library today, and we have a section in our library where you can get books and you don't have to check them out. They're called unprocessed books. And so you just grab however many you want, and you read them for as long as you want, and then you bring them back when you want. So I actually got 3. The other one is in my bedroom. I'm going to start it tonight. I got 50 Shades Free. 50 Shades Freed. I did watch all of the 50 Shades movies. This guy and I watched them. And I got James Patterson. I love James Patterson. The 15th Affair, the new Women's Murder Club novel, and Maxine Petro? Like that. And this says it's oversized print. Oversize. I don't know. And then I got one other one that I have in the bedroom, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's juicy. It's a juicy one. Something about a woman who's crazy about 2 brothers, and she like travels the world just to get away from them, stay away from them, because she's just crazy over them. And she ends up living in a home with them, and I don't know what's gonna happen. But anyway, I'll fill you in if you wanna know. This is the booklet that I said I got in the mail the other day from the Hartford, which was my car insurance company that I no longer have because I no longer have a car. But they sent me this along with a letter with condolences on my loss. And it tells all kinds of things, moving on, for your lifetime, a basic budget, things to do, the immediate details. They give you a list of support systems, your health and your well-being. When does grief end? One of the myths about mourning is that it has an ending point, that if you want to just wait long enough, it suddenly stops hurting. It doesn't. It requires work. It does get better. It does become manageable. So I wasn't going to read it, but I read the whole thing cover to cover. I'm not going to say I learned anything new, because grieving is just something you go through on your own, and and all that. I am in my 5th month since my partner died, and so I just hit, on Tuesday was 18 weeks. So I'm kind of a newbie at the whole being a widow thing, but most of the time I'm doing okay enough, whatever that means. I'm living in a 2-bedroom apartment on the 2nd floor of a corporate-owned complex, and this is my 5th year here, but my first time living alone since I was in my 20s, and I'll be 65 next month. Oh, that is so good. So the being alone has taken some getting used to. I want to talk about 3 things that I saw yesterday on YouTube channels. I put my little jade kind of earrings on. I like these. I think these are cute. I've got my Stacy bracelet and my Leo bracelet, and I picked this necklace for today. I just love the color of this. And I did 2 anklet bracelets today also. So, oh, and my ring from the Ukraine. When the Russia-Ukraine war started, a friend on Facebook, in a group I was in, a friend of hers who lives in Ukraine has an Etsy shop. And she was asking us if anybody could help support her friend and buy something from her shop, her friend in Ukraine. So I bought this really pretty, delicate ring. It was like, I don't know, $8, and then shipping. It has like little flowers. It's like, feels like a plastic. And it took about a month to get here. And this was during the very beginning of the war time. Okay, 3 things I saw yesterday on YouTube that I found interesting. One is, I follow a channel, it's a family channel. The gentleman is a widower of almost 5 years now. He has a whole bunch of kids, and it's a good channel, solid channel. I've been watching them for years. And he was doing a live stream the other day, and I caught the replay, and he was saying that he didn't want to be alone. I think somebody in the comments said, why don't you just be alone? Instead of thinking about dating, or however she put it, because you can't see, once you do a replay on a live, you only see the comments that people put out after the fact. So I don't know what she exactly said, but it must have been, why don't you just stay alone? And he said, I don't want to be alone. I'm not an alone person. I don't want to be alone. I don't like to be alone. And I was like, bingo, thank you. That's me. And I've said that so many times here, that I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. I got a text. I don't want to be alone. I'm not an alone person. That's not my thing. I know some people love to live alone and be alone and all that. That's not my jam. I'm not that. I'm not that at all. But I have been alone going on 5 months now, and I'm not liking 1 minute of it. The second thing was a video I watched, a young man, probably late 20s, and he was talking about why we are so afraid to be happy. And just the title kind of struck me, and I watched about 3/4 of it. And what he was saying was he believes that most of us are afraid to be happy because we're afraid it's going to end, that the other shoe is going to drop, that this happiness is not going to stay. So why should we be happy? Because we know we're going to be unhappy. Like, why, like, what is so wonderful about us that happiness is going to stay with us? Surely something's awful is going to happen and we're going to lose that happiness and we're going to be sad again. So why even be happy? It was a whole video on why we're afraid to be happy. And I got thinking about that, and I thought, you know, happiness is just like every other emotion. Emotions come and go throughout our whole day. Like if you think from when you wake up to when you go to bed, how many different emotions you've experienced throughout your day. There's a lot of them. And so happiness, I don't look at happiness as like a general overall feeling. You know, I would say more contentment than happiness. And I can't say right now that I'm contented because I'm not. There's nothing about my life at this point that would have me saying I'm feeling contented. I'm getting everything done, everything's falling into place, but things aren't right, you know. So that was just an interesting video, an interesting take on happiness. And I just thought I would mention it and kind of get your feelings on what do you think about happiness, and are you happy, and are you afraid to be happy for the fear of losing that happiness? There were times with Sky that I was so happy. And those moments are what I hold on to that help me keep what little bit of sanity I have left after all this, you know. But we had these moments. And so think on that a little bit. That was the second one. The third one was more like a Buddha-like video on being alone, how to be okay, and what you're going to learn about yourself when you're alone, when you're living alone. That without people around us, we face self, and all we're doing is being with ourselves, talking with ourselves, seeing ourselves, figuring out ourselves, and knowing who we really are. Not necessarily in that order. I am alone 99% of my time. It's just me in my apartment. I don't have a pet. There's no cats, no dogs, no birds, no fish, no nothing. It's just me. It's just me and my reborn Zen Rain Rivers in there, and God. People will say, you're not alone, you have God. I do, all the time. But looking around and looking for that person, you know, it's the time when I've spent the longest amount of time with myself. And I think at my age, because I've been through so much, that I'm ready to face who I am and look at the good, the bad, the ugly, the flaws, the times I did really well, my successes, my failures. And my mailman just put stuff in my mailbox. And who I am, what I want, what I don't want, what I've been through. Do I carry guilt? Do I not? We start to really face ourselves. We face our death. We face our problems, our disconnect with people or our connect with people. Like, we really spend, I think my mailman came back for something else. Anyway, I think we really do face ourselves. And I wonder if people who have a lot of people around them do that so that we don't have to face ourselves. If we're so busy with other people, we kind of fade into the background. But when it's just us, it's like, okay, what kind of a person are you? Are you going to get the bills paid on time? Are you going to keep the house clean? Are you going to eat healthy? Are you going to exercise? Are you going to get out there and make friends? Are you going to stay completely alone the rest of your life? What has your life looked like? Have you been kind? Have you been unkind? Can you fix mistakes? Can you, like all of it? we're just faced with stuff. It was very interesting. And he was just talking about, and it was a monk, and he was talking about dealing with being alone and how to be happy and okay with just ourselves. And so you on one hand, you got someone saying, I don't want to be alone. And that's me too. I don't want to be alone. You know, I want that partner. I'm not built, my DNA does not say be alone. My DNA says partner. And then the young man talking about, are we afraid to be happy and why? Because we're afraid we're going to lose that happiness, that feeling. And I found that interesting. And then how to be happy being alone. I'm like, well, I'm learning a lot about myself, and what I'm learning is I don't like being alone. So that was kind of my yesterday as far as videos in the evening. I did sleep decently, but I've been up since 4. So we're not supposed to get rain tonight, but we are supposed to get rain tomorrow, and I'm totally okay with that. And I'm going to go to the grocery store in the morning. I think what I'm going to do is try and set up in my first Uber and go down to Walmart and get my groceries. And then my old friend said he could pick me up from there with the groceries and bring me home. So that would be, get me like over the hump of having that first Uber experience. Since 2018 was the last time I used Uber. And my daughter was with me then, my daughter from Texas. I had gone down there to spend 3 days with her in Austin, and we Ubered around Austin. And so it was easier with someone there, but I have to do this on my own, and I'm older, and blah, 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 you know. Update on my son. He got a shot for his lungs to help his breathing, and he just had an ENT visit. The doctor checked ears, nose, and swabbed his throat. Kenny asked multiple times, what are you swabbing for? And he could not get an answer out of this doctor as to what they're swabbing for. Now, Kenny said, I feel like I'm getting some kind of a sinus infection, but I didn't say that to anybody. Like, I didn't mention that to anybody. So he said, like, all of a sudden, they said to me this morning, you know, you're going to see the ENT. He said that wasn't talked about before. So the ENT doctor said, look, you know, be patient with us as doctors, because we now have correct diagnoses on you. Like, you were underdiagnosed, overdiagnosed, misdiagnosed for how many months? Now we've got the diagnoses. Now we know what's going on with you. Now you're basically starting at square one. And now we have to work on these 3 illnesses that you have, and we need to get you the best quality of life we can. So they're talking about, they took 4 vials of blood this morning. They're talking about discharge possibly Saturday or Sunday, depending on what his blood work looks like when it comes back. That's all I know there. So 18 minutes, I'm going to go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing me, this channel, time with me. Fill me in on what's going on with you guys. I always ask, how are things with you? What's going on? Vacation, swimming, do you have any pets? How's the kids? How's married life? How's dating life? How did you meet your husband or your partner or your wife? Or, you know, fill me in, especially now here in 2024. I'm like, dating apps that I'm checking into are super expensive. So I don't see where that's going to be a thing for me. And I'm not hearing a lot of great stories there anyway. So what I am hearing is like word of mouth. Somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who is about the same age, and they're, you know, on their own, and blah, blah, blah. So if anything happens, I'll definitely keep you posted, but I think all in God's time, right? And so we wait. And as we wait, I find out more about myself every single day. I do. So I'm going to go. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. If your loved one is still with you, give the extra hug, the extra kiss, the extra bit of love. Make sure your kids get the love, the pets get the love, the grandkids get the love. But most importantly, make sure you get the love. Don't forget yourself in all of the mess of the world. Don't forget yourself. Oxygen mask goes on you first. I always say that, right? And I'll be back tomorrow, probably, after I get my groceries. I'll let you know how that goes.